Put up your watch it, watch it. Jesus Christ is in the air. You love it tonight, the mighty man of God. Somebody big up Jesus. Oh, oh.
In this life, me trial were many. Some of the time them me know say be a foreigner there, you know. So no go say we people do no go sing it like all me sing it. Here no feet. Yeah, can't be a foreign people there. Me have been Jamaica from my Jersey, so me have sing in the Jamaica way. And And sometime me foot them get weary. Oh, and it feel like I would stumble. I know them are gonna see so. Me know them are gonna say fall. But sometimes when my problem come in a fall, you know me know. And it feel like I would stumble and drop a grove. Me know myself, but the jail to lands and leave me. I wish some people that just feel the presence of God tonight. Some people just shout out and walk up your mouth and say, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. But the jail to lands that lead me. Put up your hand and say, lead me, Jesus. It's the hand that lead me steady. You see, I won't leap away while one heap of some millions. Oh, yeah. Nothing wrong with that. Put up on hand tonight and say, Jesus, give me grace that I would make it past the road. Can you walk me about and sing in our terror? It's like just we are on. Just we are on. 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 What it was, I love of Jesus. Think about in this life. Me try and get many. Really. Some of the time them, me put them get weary. And it feel like I will suffer. I'm straight from road. What it was, I love you. But the jail. So last time leave me. It's God that keep me. Put up in my message. Give me grace that I will make it. Can I see some holy water people sing? In our terror, this life is over. I'm away, for years, and then Jesus is gone. I fell upon the mountain top
Good night to Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, the rest of the Eastern Caribbean, wherever you are. We say a special good night to you. My name is Sheldon Scott. I'll be taking you up until the 10 o'clock hour. It's now, wow, it's already 9 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock. Yeah, we've got to get started. We'll be joined for a while by Senator the Honorable Senator Cox. That should be roughly around 9 o'clock. We should be joined by Senator Cox. Say a special good night to our listeners via 91.9, 91.5, the Real FM network. Those of you joining us via We Noise Radio out there in Brooklyn, good night to you, Wade, and the entire We Noise crew. Noise Radio, yeah, we bring the noise, huh? And a special good night to all of you joining us via the YouTube. Let me see all you like up the thing now, man. Come on, wait. Nah, that is not my YouTube. Come on, let me see all you like up the thing, man. Yeah. I know we did put up our stream a bit late today. Yeah, there's, oh boy. Yeah. Everybody let me know if you're hearing us clearly. Just give me a thumbs up or say we're hearing you, both on the YouTube and the Facebook. Someone is telling me they're not hearing me on YouTube. I just want to make sure it's a problem on their end and not our end. So if you're not hearing us, let us know. Good night to all of you on the Facebook. Let me see who's jumped in so far. Antonito, I see you. Kenrick Gibbs. Hey, Lucy King, my Lucian people. Dana Romney, Ruth Thomas, good night to you. Lele, that's a long time I call that name. Lele Peters, good night to you. All right, and let me see who else is. Wait, now I grabbed the wrong mouse. You know, I deal with about 5 mouse here. Teresa Joseph, Gillian Prescott, Glennish George, Bernadette Joseph, John Mark, Sue Steele, and Etta Baptiste, Dr. Love. Small Axe, good night and good luck to you, bro. Watch, I ain't find I get your tune on them yet. You know? Yeah. Link me up now, brother. Link me up with your music. Right, Teresa Gill, Ruth Thomas, I see you, Cynthia B, Nicole Ewing, good night to you. Peter Stryker Lewis, good night, bro. Cicely Celestine, Norma Roberts, Winnie Simon, Laslyn Douglas, good night to you. Lynn Joseph, Louisa Williams, good night to you. And Dixie and Victor, yeah, my special friend, good night to you. They love me. Yeah, that's somebody named there. Good night to you. Yes, because we love you, yeah. Olive McEwen, good night. Dixie, and this is a song called After All This Life Is Over. It's by an artist called Kokodoo out of Jamaica. Kokodoo, it's a funny name, eh? Sherry Lambert. Laslyn Douglas, yeah, I see you. Nesta Sinclair, Nurse Wendy Ann McGuire, Leroy St. Paul, Landon Jane, Pamela Hackett, yeah, I see all of you jumping in. Merrill, good night to you, Merrill George. Pamela Hackett, well, no, you call it just now, Pamela, you're getting to. Right, Yolan Moraine, Kyla John, Marlon Ferguson, Esther Peters, Jaden McFarlane. Yes, Kayla. I call him Kayla John. I call it. Ansel Andy Francis Bear, good night to you, sir. I have a question to ask in a little while. Jamila Modest. Once if I go through all the YouTube, we 8:30, you know, and we have Brother Cox coming in at 9, huh? I like to listen to a lot of Jamaican revival, you know. Them have our vibes, boy. Springs people, good night to you. Good night to the Canadian listeners who think I am ignoring them. Good night to us St. Patrick listeners, those who have recently gotten back their electricity and so on. It's so wonderful to have you back with us, yeah? It's so wonderful to have you here. And folks, I continue to tell you, we speak about Carriacou and Petit Martinique. You know that's home for me, so you know I'll always speak about it. But my goodness, the people of St. Patrick, they've been through a hard one as well, huh? So when we say we're sending stuff, we have to send Carriacou, Petit Martinique, and St. Patrick. We can't forget St. Patrick, yeah? And for those who in St. Andrew, and so I know personally of people who have lost their house in St. Andrew. I know them personally, right? I know of people who have lost their house in St. Patrick. I know them personally. And, well, you're talking about Carriacou and Petit Martinique. Of course, I know them, yeah? So it is definitely not an issue where it's just one particular area. Yeah, so it's all over. There are people that have lost their houses in different places. So, yeah, we have to. Yeah, we have to. Yeah. So I've got to ask a question on this Tuesday night before we get into a little discussion a little later on with Senator the Honorable Norland Cox. And I'm going to hold on phone calls while I ask this question. Now, last week, we saw a press release coming. Well, I thought I wasn't going to talk about it. Yeah, we saw a press release coming out by the Government Information Service. And this press release, it came out on the 11th of July. That's last week. It came out on the 11th of July, 2024. And let me read, for those of you that are listening on radio, I'm going to read. Following the passage of Hurricane Beryl over the state of Grenada. Okay, first of all, the headline to this press release is Cayman Islands offer to provide job opportunities for Grenadians as a show of solidarity in the wake of Hurricane Beryl. So the press release is premised on what they are stating as a fact. That's what they are stating as a fact, that the Cayman Islands is offering job opportunities for Grenadians. Grenadians would be able to go to the Cayman Islands and work. So this was sent out in fact, it was sent out twice, because it was sent out and then a corrected version was sent out. Basically the same thing, but like they had a spelling error or something in between and they corrected it and sent it out. So it says, following the passage of Hurricane Beryl over the state of Grenada on Monday, July 1st, 2024, the Premier of the Cayman Islands, the Honorable Yvonne O'Connor Connolly, will make a state visit to Grenada on Tuesday, July 16, 2024, where she will meet with Prime Minister, the Honorable Deacon Mitchell. So I don't know if she came, but she was supposed to come today. Yeah? So the Premier of the Cayman Islands, the Honorable Yvonne O'Connor Connolly, was supposed to be in Grenada today. Anyone earlier that know that she came, message me and let me know that if the lady come, right? Right, because she was supposed to come today. All right? In a show of solidarity to the government and people of Grenada, the Premier is extending an invitation to Grenadians who wish to work in the Cayman Islands to return with her on Tuesday, July 16, 2024. That is today. So the Premier, according to what the GIS was saying there, is supposed to have been coming to Grenada. Grenadians were being given the opportunity on the same plane she come in with, like she come in maybe with a private jet or plane or whatever she may bring in an Airbus, I don't know. But whatever plane she coming back to, go back to the Cayman Islands with her to go and work. Don't get too excited, because you know this government does lie bad. So applicants are required to submit the following through email: grenadagis@gmail.com. Curriculum vitae highlighting the area of work they are most interested in. Applicants must be in possession of a valid passport, must be 18 years or older, and be ready to travel on Tuesday, July 16, 2024. So they should have been ready to travel today. All right. The deadline for receiving applications is Sunday, July 16, 2024. Inquiries can be made through GIS at 1473-415-1386. Yeah? So several things are being said here. That the Premier, it names the Premier of the Cayman Islands. The entire press release is constructed around the Cayman Islands saying that, hey, the Premier, Honorable Yvonne O'Connor Connolly, coming to Grenada, giving Grenadians the opportunity to go to Cayman Islands with her. So she coming today, she going back today, and somebody confirmed that she did arrive today. Thank you very much, my dear. See, I'm people all over, you know. So she's supposed to come today, and she's supposed to, according to the Government Information Service, and let's understand what the Government Information Service is. The Government Information Service is the official mouthpiece of the government of Grenada. It's the official. Anything you get from the Government Information Service is supposed to be good tobacco, well pressed. Yeah? It's supposed to be straight information. It's supposed to be seaweed ready for the blend. Yeah? Not the blender, the blend. Right? So whatever you get from the Government Information Service is supposed to be straightforward information. You're supposed to be able to accept that, understanding that this is your government speaking to you. This is your government passing information to you. I can say that because I worked along with the GIS for many years as a public relation officer, yeah, attached to the Ministry of Youth. And then, as you all very well know, for close to a year, I was the Minister of Information, so I know what the role of the Government Information Service is. They are supposed to provide factual, truthful information to the Grenadian people and inform them of various projects and various opportunities that are available through the government of Grenada. The GIS is not an employment agency. So from the time I saw this release, one of the first things that hit me was that inquiries can be made through the GIS, and they gave a phone number here. I'm very interested in finding out the individual that phone number is attached to, 415-1386. I'm very interested in finding out who is the individual attached to that number, or who individuals are attached to that number. Yeah? So the Government Information Service that is supposed to be providing information has flipped its role into operating as an employment agency. Yeah? But not only that, they tell you apply for something by Sunday, and they should have been able to go through. I'm just telling you according to what they wrote. We're going to come to the other part of it just now. According to what they wrote, you're supposed to apply by Sunday gone. Sunday, as we know, is not a working day as so. So Monday, they would go over all the applications. And Tuesday, you're ready to jump the plane to go back to Cayman Islands with the Premier. That is what is supposed to have happened. According to what the GIS, they send it out. They sent out 2 emails with that information. They sent out one and then they corrected it on the same day. Within minutes, they sent out, what, minutes or hours? Could be hours, yeah? That they sent it out. Now, added to this, the GIS is using a Gmail account. Now, for those of you that may be unaware, once you're working within the government service, they provide you with an official government email. Yes, so for instance, I was Sheldon Scott at gov.gd. Gov.gd is a domain that represents the government of Grenada. In fact, when you're speaking to certain agencies, when you're speaking to different countries, when you're relating to different businesses, unless they see the gov.gd at the end of that, some of them ain't taking you serious. I can tell you that from personal experience, interacting with international companies on behalf of the government of Grenada. Unless they see that gov.gd at the end, that means that, and it's gov.us for the United States, gov.tt for Trinidad. So generally the gov dot means you are representing or you are working with the government. Yeah? So when I see you're asking people to submit things, but you do, it's just like you run and create a quick email. So you create grenadagis@gmail.com. That's suspicious. The government of Grenada does not correspond using Gmail accounts. So again, I start to get concerned. Something ain't looking right with this thing, but it came from the official GIS email account. It is on the GIS letterhead, as we can see here. It is on the official GIS letterhead. It comes from the Government Information Service. It is saying that the Premier coming on the Tuesday and she going back on the Tuesday and she taking a load of Grenadian back to go and work in Cayman Islands. I don't know since when that has happened with her on the same day. Lo and behold, the following day, we all receive this particular email from the Prime Minister's office. Nonetheless, yeah, we receive this email from the Prime Minister's office. And let me pull this one up for you. So the other one was dated the 11th of July. This one was dated the 12th of July, as you can see up here. Right? Let me make it big day, right? You see? Right. The 12th of July. I want you all to see the thing, man, right? And it is coming from, not the GIS this time, but they make all kind of seal. I don't know how that official, because if you make a seal that is representative of the government of Grenada, let me just point that out. If the office of the Prime Minister now has an official seal, I fail to understand why the name of an individual is there. If it is the official seal of that individual, that is one thing. So the mere fact that you're putting Honorable Deacon Mitchell here, it falsifies that document as far as I'm concerned. Because he won't be Prime Minister for long again. What you have? A year? 2 years? Maybe even not that long. He won't be Prime Minister for long again. So if you're adopting this as the official seal of the office of the Prime Minister, have enough common sense. Go and speak to some of them people who understand diplomacy, and so there's a name that's trying to come to mind right now that would tell you that you can't put Honorable Deacon Mitchell on that. But anyway, for immediate release, retraction of GIS statement, and it's not GIS retract, the Prime Minister office retract the GIS statement. Meanwhile, the GIS retract the GIS statement. So the office of the Prime Minister of Grenada apologizes to the office of the Premier of the Cayman Islands and renounces and retracts. They ain't just retract, they renounce it as well. And renounces and retracts. The Government Information Service GIS press release, which states that the Premier is extending an invitation to Grenadians who wish to work in the Cayman Islands to return with her on Tuesday, July 16, 2024. So in other words, they retracted because it was not true. It was not true. So we have gotten to the stage now that we cannot trust information coming from the Government Information Service. We already know that we cannot trust information coming from the Prime Minister. We know definitely we cannot trust information coming from his ministers. And we know definitely from the party functionaries of that organization, lying is like a pastime to them. Like they forget how to tell truth. So, it says here, no such offer was made during the courtesy call made to the Prime Minister of Grenada by the Premier of the Cayman Islands. No such offer. During the call, the Premier expressed solidarity to the people of Grenada and the devastation caused to Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, and offered relief assistance to Grenada and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The Premier and a delegation from the Cayman Islands will visit Grenada and St. Vincent and the Grenadines on Tuesday, 16, 2024, July 2024, to deliver aid relief to both islands. So they come and they bring aid. The Honorable Deacon Mitchell, Prime Minister of Grenada, expresses his profound and heartfelt appreciation for the material support and solidarity shown by the Premier and her government and the people of the Cayman Islands during this challenging time. So this is on the official letterhead of the Prime Minister's office as it is right now. Yeah? We're seeing the Prime Minister's office, we're seeing the email, you see pmo.gov.gd. You understand, right? So you understand what I was talking about just now when I was saying that gov.gd, that is how you know it comes from the government of Grenada. Right. 440, you get the numbers there and the extension, everything, so you could call them if you had to call and all them kind of thing. Would I the Prime Minister number there? Or I somebody else in the office number? Anyway, right. But it is worrying. It is extremely worrying and a concern to those of us who have spent time in the media and those of us who have a modicum of sense in this country. How that piece of information that the Premier extend an invitation, not only that the woman extend an invitation, but that when she comes, she going back with the people. So how that end up in a press release sent to the media and the region, because GIS list is extensive. So this didn't only go to the local media. This went to the regional media and possibly international media as well. That the Cayman Islands Premier come in Grenada and take up a load of Grenadians to go and work in the Cayman Islands. Get your CV and thing ready and get it in by Sunday. Because Tuesday the plane leaving. And you're going on the plane. But the Prime Minister's release, up to now we hear nothing from the GIS on that, And media colleagues, I would really like, when the Prime Minister holds his press conference tomorrow, yes, he does have a press conference tomorrow. Yeah, one of the questions I challenge you as the Fourth Estate to ask is, how did GIS get this so wrong that they had to retract the statement? In other words, a whole aspect of a conversation that never took place formed the basis of a press release by the Government Information Service. I'll tell you, had I been the Minister of Information at that point in time, I would have fired myself. Yeah? Because you have to look over what's going out. Had I been the Minister of Information, and I've been Minister of Information, so I could speak from a point of knowing, I'd have fired myself. I'd have walked into Dr. Mitchell and I said, Doc, I do not think I can handle this. I believe that what I have done is an embarrassment there, and I'm gone. Yeah? I ain't trying to hold no other staff member responsible and take ultimate responsibility for it. That is what men does do. But you see, in this case, the head of GIS happens to be the Prime Minister as well, because he's also the Minister of Information. In this case, he's the Minister of Misinformation. He's the Minister of Misinformation. Because you're telling me a whole aspect of a conversation that never take place. You went and write a whole press release in relation. Well, listen, the person who wrote the press release, how did that person come by the information they used to write the press release? They had email address, they had phone number, they had timeline, they had everything inside there. Send you information. Send you information. All you're going back on the plane Tuesday. How much are they? How much are they went on the plane today? No, I need to know. We need to know. Just like the Minister of National Security, the Prime Minister needs to fire him. The Prime Minister also needs to fire his Minister of Information. Mr. Prime Minister, do the honorable thing. Fire your Minister of Information. Yeah? Because if you do not fire your Minister of Information, or in this case, misinformation, your Minister of Misinformation is going to cause you to get fired. That's a piece of advice. The only piece that you're getting tonight. Yeah? But fire just the way you had to fire the Minister of National Security, because they ain't securing. The Minister of National Security ain't securing, so you have to get rid of them. Fire them. But you also have to fire the Minister of Information. This is an international embarrassment. Come on. Really and truly, how a whole part of a conversation that never took place, a whole part of a conversation that never took place, ends up as a press release. Somebody call and tell me. I open the phone line. Somebody call and explain to me how a whole part of a conversation that never take place end up as a press release. It end up, and remember, the press release, let me pull it up here for you. Yeah, let me pull it up here for you all, right? Remember, the press release is based, the heading of the press release is based on the job opportunities, That's the basis. Not that the Premier of the Cayman Islands is coming with aid to Grenada, that she's bringing relief items to the people of Grenada. It is based on job opportunities for Grenadians. That's the thing. Exciting thing. You know how much people maybe done start to say, boy, let me send in my CV, and you know how much CV they maybe get on that email? And I have to say, that email should not be used. It should not be used. I really think, yes, I think some of them need to go and get some medication, because something up. Listen, you know what's the possibility? The possibility is that ChatGPT write that one for them. No, seriously. The possibility probably is that ChatGPT wrote that for them. Let me get ChatGPT to write something for us and see, right? Let's just go to ChatGPT. Yeah, let me see if we could talk to ChatGPT and ask it to write something for us there. Let me bring it up, big day. Nice, right? Let me ask ChatGPT to write us a 400 word press release from the Government Information Service of Grenada about the visit of the Premier of the Cayman Islands to Grenada on, let me spell Grenada properly. Yeah, we want to think mix up our thing, right? Grenada on July 16th, right? 2024. Yeah, we asking ChatGPT to write it for us, and let me see what ChatGPT go give us, right? Where she will be taking back Grenadians with her to work in her country as a result of Hurricane Beryl. Let's see what ChatGPT go write for us. Yeah. Ah boy, you see how very similar this is to what has been put out by the government of Grenada. This ChatGPT, this is artificial intelligence writing this. And we got artificial intelligence to write for us. Premier of the Cayman Islands visits Grenada, a new chapter of cooperation and support in the wake of Hurricane Beryl. And the government of Grenada is honored to announce the visit of the Premier of the Cayman Islands, the Honorable, well, it's at the old fella day. So ChatGPT does make them mistakes, right? Because it basically has information back a few years. So you have to be specific with the names and so. To our beautiful nation, the significant visit underscores the deepening ties and unwavering solidarity between Grenada and the Cayman Islands, particularly in the wake of the devastating impacts of Hurricane Beryl. Premier, right, the wrong name there, arrived in Grenada today, marking a pivotal moment in our ongoing efforts to recover and rebuild after the hurricane. Her visit highlights the spirit of regional cooperation and mutual support that defines our Caribbean community. During her stay, Premier will engage in high-level discussions with the Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell. You see, I tell you, that information from a few years ago, so you just had to update it. And other key government officials to coordinate immediate and long-term recovery strategies. A key highlight of Premier Laughlin's visit is a commitment to assisting Grenadian citizens affected by the hurricane, recognizing the urgent need for employment and stability in the aftermath of the disaster. The Premier has announced a compassionate initiative to welcome Grenadian nationals to the Cayman Islands for employment opportunities. The initiative, well, you all get the picture, yeah? You all understand what is being done here, right? So the that's ChatGPT for you. Yeah? ChatGPT wrote that, and it took how much? Just the time it took to type it, and it took me just about what? It took it less than 10 seconds to write that entire article for us. That is what has happened when you're using ChatGPT. Stop using ChatGPT. Get people who are competent to write all your press release. Yeah? Because all they had to do here, basically, if this was them, was swap out the names. Dr. Keith Mitchell put in the name Deacon Mitchell, swap out the name of the wrong name they had for the Premier. They put that in and just adjust one or two lines and bam. Yeah? Stop using ChatGPT. Yeah? No, but I have to assume it's something like that happened because they are lying. They are lying, and they are lying to our face. They lie. All you lie. And then, when the Cayman Islands start getting heat, because remember, they're still a dependent territory of the UK, which means that the Premier, they have to answer to the British Parliament if they ask her for a question. You can't just be taking Grenadians and bring en masse to come there, yeah? To come en masse and come into the Cayman Islands without clearing that with the UK government. No, even though the UK government changed, you can't play that game with them. They could shut down your government, you know. They could just take rule from England. They could do it directly to the Cayman Islands right now. They could tell her, hey, you step aside and we are directing the Cayman Islands from here. When they did this, what they have also done is placed, and I saw one journalist saying it, they have, well, the one journalist saying it, that they have placed the Premier in a precarious situation where the UK Parliament could now ask for the transcripts, because it's supposed to be recorded, for the transcripts of that conversation between the Prime Minister of Grenada and the Premier. They can ask for those transcripts. And that could end up in Parliament, that could end up in committee, that could end up in all kind of thing. Somebody Somebody, please explain to the eye, Rastafari, explain to the eye, how that happened. A whole conversation that never take place. A whole conversation that never took place ended up being sent out to the media as the key aspect. So a conversation did take place between the Prime Minister of Grenada and the Premier of the Cayman Islands. That is a fact. We know that, yeah? The Premier of the Cayman Islands was due to and has visited Grenada today. That is a fact. So we know that a conversation took place. We know that she was coming to Grenada. But that is not what the key part of this was. The key part of this was that she come in and she go in with people. Yeah, this thing on the government information. So, wow, anytime we see this now, anytime we see this letterhead, we can't believe what we're seeing there then. We have to wonder. We have to wonder if we could believe what we're seeing. We have a caller online. Hello, good night. Hello.
Hey, Sheldon.
Hey, good night.
Sheldon.
Yes, sir.
Boy, these people on them. A liar is a thief, so they has no memory. They lying and they thieving. Everything in one. Good night.
Right, caller. Yeah, let me take your calls. We won't talk to Senator Cox in that time. You know, it's Carriacou, so you know the situation. So we're going to talk to him. We wouldn't have a long conversation with him tonight. But let me hear all you. How that happened? Well, we know that does lie. We know for a fact that these people does lie. Yeah? Because if they could tell you through one side of the mouth, they tell you they're giving the okay for the houses in Carriacou to be used to house people. Then the next one come and say, well, the people already there. And then the third one come afterwards and say, well, you can't put people in that place. The place ain't good. So you tell nobody you can't put people there because the place ain't good. If the Prime Minister can make the statement during a press conference that the Minister of Finance and all you, the Minister of Finance and the Prime Minister will be on a press conference in the morning. Media people, ask the Prime Minister about this. Ask him about this for me, please. Yeah, we want to know because he said, the Prime Minister said, that the Minister of Finance already write to the people in relation to invoking the hurricane clause in relation to our loans. So let's hear.
Grenada does have a catastrophic risk insurance policy. So we need to be able to determine whether we have reached the threshold to claim under this policy. It has implications for our fiscal obligations as well as our debt liabilities. In fact, the Minister of Finance has already written to some of our multilateral partners to indicate that this catastrophic event has happened and to trigger our debt suspension clause in some of these agreements.
Let's hear that specific part again. That's the part that you need to listen to carefully because the Prime Minister is saying something different now. So let's hear him.
Obligations as well as our debt liabilities. In fact, the Minister of Finance has already written to some of our
The Minister of Finance has already written, not going to, not might, not will write in the future. This on the 1st of July. The 1st of July is the Prime Minister of Grenada, Mr. Deacon Mitchell, providing information to the Grenadian people that says the following, that the minister has already, not that the minister shall, not that the minister might, not that the minister may or may have, not that the minister will in the future. He makes a definitive statement of fact that the minister has already done. So let's hear.
Liabilities. In fact, the Minister of Finance has already written to some of our multilateral partners to indicate.
Don't say I lie. Listen what he said, right? He has already written, right? So let's hear it.
In fact, the Minister of Finance has already written to some of our multilateral partners to indicate that this catastrophic event has happened and to trigger our debt suspension clause.
And he write to them with the intention of triggering our hurricane clause in the debts. So when you take a loan, when Grenada takes a loan, and let me move him because people are saying move him on it. Right. So, yeah, listening, right? When we have a loan, when Grenada takes a loan, and this was put in place by the new National Party after Hurricane Ivan. Every time you take a loan, there is attached to it a hurricane clause. That is after we do all the debt restructuring with the Paris Club and all this sort of thing. There's always a hurricane clause that says that you can suspend your payments for a period, I believe, of 24 months or so. You can suspend your payments until you get your economy back on feet again, and then you start back paying. So you may be paying, let's say you're paying 500,000 US to a bondholder or somebody on a monthly basis, and then something happens that can trigger that clause, and you say, well, okay, you would have to hold off for 24 months, and then we would restart payments at the end of those 24 months, where you can use that 500,000 that you were paying, you can use that towards the immediate problem at hand. Yeah? So instead of making those debt payments, you hold that money and you use it to take care of things at home. The Prime Minister said that the Minister of Finance has already written to those people. Yet still, when he was asked that same question, when he was asked about that same issue by the foreign media, our dear Prime Minister's response changed.
I don't know if this was discussed or asked before, but I'm quite interested in knowing about the debt suspension that Grenada asked for. If the Prime Minister could talk about that and what impact that is expected to have, and if that's been accepted already.
All right, so we have not yet made the formal request to suspend the...
You wait, no, that is no way to tell us just now. No, Mr. Prime Minister, that is no way to tell us just now. Yeah, that is no way to tell us. Yeah, we have not yet. No, he said the minister already wrote. He already wrote to inform them of the disaster. He wrote for two things: to inform them this has taken place and to trigger the hurricane clause. That is what Deacon Mitchell said to us on the 1st of July. But the story changed. The story changed now. Yeah?
Made the formal request to suspend.
And if that's been accepted already.
All right, so we have not yet made the formal request to suspend, to trigger the debt suspension clauses that we have in some of our financial instruments.
That is not what he said to us on the 1st. The man said that we already write to them. You see what I'm telling you is lie, 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 and more lie with these people. Everything with them is a lie, 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 lie. The people who are supposed to be providing information, the government information service, we have gotten to the stage where you cannot trust the information from the government information service. And they have not, up to this point in time, I do not believe that I have seen a retraction from the government information service, but I have seen the retraction by the Prime Minister's office. Yeah? So even though the thing come from the GIS, it's the Prime Minister's office. And still, again, you cannot be using a letterhead that has a seal that is supposed to be the seal of the office of the Prime Minister of Grenada, and you had this man name in it. The office is the office, the individual is the individual. Deacon Mitchell could lose the support of the majority of his members tonight. They could go to the Governor General tonight and say that they support someone else for Prime Minister, and he's no longer Prime Minister. Yeah? There are various other things that can be triggered that can remove him as Prime Minister. The Constitution does not respect the individual. It respects the office. Yeah? So you can't take his name and put it on what is supposed to be the seal of the Prime Minister of Grenada. You ever see the White House seal saying Joe Biden or Barack Obama or Donald Trump? You ever see the White House seal saying that? In Trinidad, they have a seal for the office of the Prime Minister. You ever seen any of the Prime Ministers from the time I think they started using that from the days of either Basdeo Pandey or Patrick Manning, and then you had Kamala Persad Besessa, you've had Dr. Keith Rowley. You ever see any of them name on the seal? If you're doing something, do it properly. Sorry, folks. Some folks are saying I'm leaving anything up here too long. Let's just hear the rest of what he had to say.
You have to appreciate that the debt suspension doesn't actually reduce the debt. It simply means for a 24-month period you don't pay, and it gives you some liquidity in that instead of paying the debt, you can use that liquidity to help with the relief and rebuilding effort. But it's simply added to the back end of the loan. It is a useful instrument because, of course, we're here making an appeal for financing, and particularly grant financing to help us with.
So he's basically saying there that they may not even do it. But this is after you already told us, the Grenadian people, on the 1st of July, in a press conference broadcast by the GIS. So we reach to the stage we can't trust nothing GIS telling us now because it's pure lie, right? Because that is on the GIS, you know. That is on the GIS that came across. Yeah? And lo and behold, I am not attacking the staff at the Government Information Service. I know the folks who work there and I know they're very capable. I don't know about the latest additions to the bunch. Yes, I do know at least one of them who has been brought into the Government Information Service. I know the individual from the year 1995. I know that individual. I've been involved in the media and media circles since the year 1996. I started my age. 1996. I've been involved in and around the media. And from the hundreds of people I've known pass through the media, be it at CC6, be it at GBN, be it at MTV, be it at the various newspapers that pass through and the other little entities, I've never known that individual to be attached to any of them. But if that is their choice, who am I to say that they shouldn't hire the man, keep the man there? No, don't move him. Leave him right there. They hire a next one who's a glorified cameraman, as far as I know, who's all of a sudden is this big expert. I'm not going to say move them, leave them right there. All we should be saying, leave them right there. Don't move them. Right? Leave them right there. Right? Folks, let's take a couple of your calls before we bring in Senator Cox. 440-73. Let me hear from you all. 440-7377. 440-7377. 347-329-3101. And let me say a special thank you. And this is on a slightly different issue. Let me say a special thank you to the staff at the General Hospital, in particular the emergency department. I had to spend a significant portion of this afternoon at the General Hospital, at the emergency department. And I'll tell you, when I say I can't complain, I can't complain. Yeah? Other people have different experiences. When I was there, I found that the staff that were there, they were very polite. Well, I don't know if it's because it's me, but they were very polite. I think they did an excellent job. I had an issue with my son, and we went there. His mom brought him, and I went up and took over. And I can tell you that the staff were very professional. They did an excellent job. There's a lot of things that, without even asking them, that I could see that they are in need of. That definitely has to be done. Yeah? I won't go into details today because I don't want them go and say the staff said they didn't tell me anything. I noticed things for myself. Yeah? That needs to be done and so on. So we will have a discussion on that at another time. But I don't want to overshadow that by not saying thank you from the bottom of my heart. In fact, the whole heart, not the bottom alone. Some people get it from the whole thing. All right? Yeah. The whole part of the cardiology thing. Yeah. The whole, yeah. Right. Thank you for the excellent job that they did this afternoon when it came to my son. Yeah. I cannot say that I had to stay there too long. I cannot say that other folks who were there had to stay way too long. Yes, there are one or two folks that I met and I left, but according to the issue, don't expect them to just tell them, well, go. You finish with you. You expect them to keep them a little longer, but they were being attended to. I can't say that I was there and people were there long and they didn't get to go in and that kind of thing. Yeah. There were others that got the opportunity and so on. So again, thank you to the staff that were on duty at the accident and emergency this afternoon at the General Hospital. I'm giving praise to the staff, not the administration. 440-7377-347-32 440-7377 and 347-329-3101. Well, if you like what them would, why leave them fellas at them GIS? What you want to move them high for? Lead them guys at them day. Lead them day. Yeah? Don't move them. Lead them day. We have a call online. Hello, good night. Hello, good night.
Hey, Sheldon, how you doing? Good night.
Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
Hey, Sheldon, do you remember a couple, I think it was early up in 2023, the then Minister Ron Redhead, he was solicited to work on his Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
And the PM was asked a question right to his face, and the PM said he didn't know nothing about that. And that Facebook page was up until the same day when that question was asked to the PM, and he said he knows nothing about that. So that ain't surprising, you know.
But bro, the Prime Minister needs to fire the Minister of Information.
Just like how you fired the Minister of Finance, because trust me, he wasn't doing a good job. And this to me now shows the inexperience. Because look at the back and forth, the flip-flopping with the PM himself. He himself is giving misinformation, and people seems not to understand that this is not normal. And secondly, to the people of Carriacou, I mean, still solidarity goes out to you, and I mean, whole strong Senator Cox. I listened to you this morning, and I could see the pain. I could see the pain on Senator Cox's face amidst all the adversity and all the problems that you're going through a bit. And for the pettiness from the Minister of Carriacou and Diplomatic Affairs, better drop it. Please drop it. Because watch me, when I listen to what has been said by Senator Cox this morning, and knowing Senator Cox, the humble guy that he is, but Minister, no, stop it. The gentleman lost his spouse, and you was not at that funeral. I want to go personal, but these little things I look at. And when I hear certain things that Senator Cox said this morning, it didn't pass me that you, Mr. Minister, is doing these things in them. Do better. Have a good night, Sheldon.
All right, thank you. 4407377. We're going to take a couple of your calls before we bring on Senator the Honorable Nolan Cox. In a little while, we'll be bringing him on. You know, it's always a good thing to have a discussion with the folks who are at the location. We want to speak to them. What you mean the staff, they afraid me mouth? I find it was real nice. I know. I find people was in and out in a reasonable time. And the thing is, a lot of times, and I'll say this clearly, a lot of times when you go to accident and emergency, because you are in pain or your loved one is in pain, you want immediate attendance, but they have different levels. And according to different conditions, which they would immediately try to deal with. And so I'm not saying that's always what happens, but you may want immediate. So you may be there 15 minutes, half an hour before you get to go in, or you may be there an hour or more before you're getting to go and see a doctor, if there's a doctor there, because we recognize that at times that is a problem people have spoken about, that they went there and there's no doctor on duty. So I'm saying it as it is. That is what people say. Sometimes they go there. I was lucky. Yeah? Why everybody just messaging me and saying the nurses, they afraid me mouth? No, I'd find it's afraid they afraid me mouth, man. I'd find it's afraid they afraid me mouth. Folks, let me see if I can get on Senator Cox, and then after that we can have some further conversations. And also, as they mentioned Carriacou and Petit Martin, before I bring in Senator Cox, I want to talk about this one. I've spoken to a couple police and the family of several police officers who have been sent to Carriacou. And again, the police are making a simple call on the Member of Parliament for Carriacou and Petit Martinique, Mr. Tevin Ishmael Andrews. Please have some respect for them. Please. The police officers get up to Carriacou. They are immediately ordered. I don't know since when ministers could be ordering police to do anything else. A minister, I know you can't order police. That is what the commissioner and them they for. That is what they have ranks for. Yeah, you may speak to them and make a suggestion, and then they would work it out. But you don't go as the minister and say, well, you have to take off all this stuff from on that boat and so. And then when you find the police officers taking too long, in your view, to store the equipment and so, and change into the proper gear to go and offload the boat. You want the boat offload now. You start casting obscenities, which I will not repeat on this program because my listenership is varied. Yeah? But you start casting obscenities at these police officers and calling them lazy. You don't know what kind of lazy police they sent up from Grenada. Mr. Tevin Ishmael Andrews / Pinkygate / Pinkygate. Please have some respect for the police officers, because they might be the same ones that investigate Pinkygate too. I don't feel we forgetting that, that ain't done. Yeah, Mr. Pinkygate? Right. Have some respect for the police officers. You cannot be seeing senior police officers and upbraiding them and cussing them. Let me explain to you all. When I had newly been appointed as a government minister, knowing me, you all know me, you know the type of person I am. I was heading to St. David. So rather than get my vehicle and head up to St. David, I jump on a bus. I was on my way to St. David. It was around this time of year, carnival time. And you know what happened? The police had a roadblock and they stopped the bus. I, a newly appointed government minister, was on the bus. The police was searching everybody on the bus. When come time to search me, I just go and let them search me too. You know, there are other people who come and say, no way, but you see who I is, you know who I am? I don't know if the police officers knew me and decided that they're just doing it because they think that they're embarrassing me, or they didn't know me and therefore they went ahead. But all I knew for a fact was that the police officers were doing their job. And that is what we want them to do. So I wouldn't make a scene out of it. I don't think I've ever given this story before. I jump a bus. I was staying in Springs. I jump a bus. We was going up. Reach up by the gospel hall up in Calvini there. They had a roadblock there. They stopped the bus. They start searching everybody. I stand up and take my search too. They're searching for weapons and drugs and so on. Stand up and I take my search too. And I ain't not afraid to take search. You had nothing on me. So they searched me. There was nothing wrong with that. They're doing their job. Not because you are in a position of power means you have to disrespect the police officers. I remember another time, I was heading to the Prime Minister's office, so you had to pass the security on the lower floor before you go up to the Prime Minister's office. And the police officer there asked me when I just passed and I waved to them and I was going up the stairs, and he asked me, sir, you have to come and sign, So I went back down, I go, and I sign my name, and I go upstairs. As a minister, you don't really have to do that. In fact, he's supposed to salute when he see you and thing. I go down, I sign my name, and I go upstairs. When I come back down, somebody probably tell him, but that's the minister, you do that. So he stand up and he salute immediately. One of my best friend right now. Because I didn't come to him and say, well, you don't know who I am? You don't know who I am? No, the officer doing his work. So he said, can you please come and sign? I went and I signed. Maybe he saw the name that was there. He asked where I was going. I said, I'm going up to the Prime Minister's office to see the Prime Minister. So I sign and I go. So you cannot be disrespecting police officers. All they are trying to do is their job. You're hearing stories of government ministers, police officers passing, doing inspection and so on the road, and they just fling their hand at them and drive off. And that kind of thing. You can't do that. You can't. This human beings too, And they're doing the job that they're being paid to do. Unlike you. They're doing the job that they're being paid to do. So you can't be cussing police officers. In fact, they're even doing jobs that they are not paid to do. That's not a job to go offloading boat. That's not a job. That is not their job. So you can't go disrespecting them like that. Yeah? So please, Mr. Tevin Ishmael Andrews / Pinkygate, do not disrespect the police officers. Have some respect. We understand that you may be traumatized, but there is no excuse for disrespect. We ain't taking no excuse for that. Respect the police officers. Threatening police officers, telling police officers, oh, you're going back down to Grenada and on the next boat. And the thing is, it happening, telling them they're going back down. And they're going back down. You can't be disrespecting the police officers like that. I disrespect. Yeah? First one of them had to lock you up. I don't care if they do me so, they locking your tail up when you start to cuss bad word. Are they locking you up? Yeah? 440. Oh, yeah. Let me just put on this tune and see if I can get the Honorable Nolan Cox. Let me just see if I could raise. I just had to speak on that particular one, and also Mr. Minister National Security that need to be fired. St. David's Police Station having a problem with an insect infestation. They're having a serious problem with an insect infestation at the St. David's Police Station. Please look into that matter. All right? Nice. Let me take this call before we go over and get Minister Cox. Hello, good night.
Hello, good night.
Hi, good night.
Brother Sheldon, I want to sing a song.
You want to sing a song? He doesn't let people sing song, you know. But go ahead.
Yeah. You must like that one.
Go ahead. New Calypso.
Tevin in Carriacou, hiding. Tevin in Carriacou, hiding from the gun. Tevin, where are you? Tevin, where are you? Tevin, where are you? Tevin, hiding from the gun. Have a blessed night.
Thank you very much, my dear. Only just like thing. Let me put on this song and let's get Senator Cox on the line with us. Yes, indeed. We have on the line with us Senator the Honorable Nolan Cox. Good evening to you, sir.
Hey, good evening, Sheldon, and pleasant evening to Talking Points family. And of course, we have to say new members because you never know, somebody new might be listening tonight. So,
well, every night has somebody new, you know. Yes, my brother, how has it been going over the past few days? I haven't seen you since last week Wednesday. We talked, but I haven't seen you since last week Wednesday. And I know the situation on the ground. My brother, how has it been going with you, first of all? You personally?
Well, just long days, long nights, just a lot of stuff, doing personal stuff for people, you know, man, and just a lot of stuff in general, you know, just helping out wherever you can. So, seems like the day is not long enough, but I'm okay. Just a little bit tired, but I'm okay.
Yes, but we tired, but we never get weary yet. We working.
That's all.
How have the various initiatives that you have piloted out there in Carriacou during this troubling time, how have they been progressing? Last night we spoke a good while with Wendy about the Meals on Wheels, and we do know the toilets, they are in operation and so on, and we know that there are other initiatives taking place. How have these been going?
Well, what I can tell is that the feedback has been quite positive. Just last night, somebody called me for a toilet in a particular community. They wanted one place there. So what we're recognizing is that what we have now on the ground may not be enough for the demands. And so I personally, today on the GBN to the Point program, I even call on the government to, they can also, you know, get some toilets in as well, because as we say, we're trying to do this together to provide that support for everybody. And so it's not a situation where We alone want to be doing the tallies, but if there are other persons and they can also do it to complement what we're doing, and that is what we're trying to do, and vice versa. So that has been going okay in terms of foodstuff and water and so. Fortunately, I have been able to receive support from varying persons on mainland, from Trinidad, from St. Vincent, and so we have been, whatever little bit of stuff that we've been getting, not in large quantities as of course the national effort is, but enough so that we can also make our mark and touch areas that may have gotten missed for one reason or the other. So those are some of the things that we have been doing. Hopefully on the weekend or so, we should be receiving a Starlink device. So that will help in areas where you have challenges with network coverage. So we'll probably do a schedule, and have the device going from community to community, so persons can get themselves engaged and make calls at different times to the loved ones, or send an email, or for persons who might have classes online or something like that. So whatever the case may be, we're trying to see if we can provide some support in that regard. While we do have some network coverage, it is limited, and in some cases is not stable as well. So that is
down in Windward Dover area, do they have coverage in that area? I know that was a dark area. There was no coverage down there at all from anything.
It's still dark. There is a little bit of coverage, but that coverage is coming from St. Vincent, so you have to incur roaming charges if you want to make calls, and it's still limited. So it's not every area in the north that the St. Vincent network can reach. So that area is still, in my mind, considered a dead zone from Cherry Hill going up. So it's a difficult challenge, because the antenna that's supposed to link with the one in Petit Martinique to feed to the north, the one in Petit Martinique is gone. It's missing. And the one in Montreal, that's for flow, that one has kind of collapsed. It has bent down to the ground. I know that some work is going on to see if they can get it up. So they're trying. I know that they're working and they're trying. I've been in communication with them. That's for flow. But the GCL is more stable within the Hillsborough area. But as you go out north, nothing as well, because the GCL antenna in Windward data also is damaged or is not functional. So that is the challenge for persons in the north in terms of communication.
So, because I know that in speaking to some of the folks out there, there was that issue. Some of them said they had not spoken to their family members outside of Carriacou. They had not spoken to any other family members. I know in one instance, I sent a picture to an individual from Petit Martinique. They were very happy, because while they heard that relative was okay, they had not seen a photo, a video, anything of them. So getting the Starlink to those areas would be such a help and such an assistance to those people to get in contact with their family members, especially you have family members that are trying. And we know the Carriacou community in the diaspora is very large. In fact, I don't know what you believe, but I think there are more Carriacou people outside than inside.
Well, probably.
Yeah,
that might be true.
And they're looking to help. They are looking to help. All of those in when you talk about Brooklyn alone is probably the population of Carriacou, and much less in Canada and so on.
Well, I had communication the diaspora today and this afternoon, and I know that a number of initiatives are on the way, and some of it has already, some of the stuff already coming in. There's some persons are sending direct to NADMA, some persons are sending to loved ones, some persons sending on the name, and they come in to receive it themselves as well. So, but there is a significant number of initiatives out there for persons trying to raise support, be it cash, be it materials, items or so, for the relief effort for Carriacou and Petit Martinique.
Nice. We know what is the situation as it comes to water in Carriacou and in Petit Martinique right now. What is the situation when it comes to drinkable water?
Well, some of the reports I've been receiving, a number of persons, as you know, in any cyclone, any hurricane, it is advised that you disconnect your dung pipe, and that is for a number of reasons, for debris and for your storage water not to be contaminated. It appears that most people didn't do that, and what has happened is that a number of the water in the tanks are contaminated. Some persons are indicating that their water is even salt. Yeah. So because of the hurricane, it took up the sea spray and the salt and deposit a lot of the hard water, so to speak, which persons are now in persons' tanks. So those tanks have to be cleaned out. So the issue with water is going to be, I believe, our most challenging task, most challenging. And the reason for that being, Carriacou, we get our water mainly from rainwater harvesting. We do have our desal plant, which covers Hillsborough and a portion of the south going to the south of the island, Lauriston, but not much connection on the main line from after I leave Hillsborough going down to Haverville. Not much persons are connected to that line as yet. They just did that line recently, not too long. Mm-hmm. But Hillsborough proper is covered. Well, Pidimantnik 100%. Pidimantnik is covered 100% with diesel. But the challenge is that because more than 80% or 90% of all the roofs are off, that is basically our catchment. So we actually have no catchment right now. Little or no catchment for rainwater harvesting, and that is where the problem really emanates from. Because if we do not get roof back between now, just for this rainy period, and when dry season comes in January, it's going to be a very difficult dry season for us in terms of water. So we have to brace for that.
So you're saying now what has happened to a lot of folks with their catchment? Because for those who may be unfamiliar with Carriacou and you're speaking of rainwater harvesting, the typical original Carriacou house is built in a way that your rainwater is stored in a cistern. Well, cistern you call it, right?
Yes, cistern, yeah.
Stored in a cistern and so. And that water, even though the house has gone and the cistern is still there, that water has been contaminated in many instances. So it's either salt or there may be dead animals, etc.
Yeah. Debris, more a lot of leaf and stuff would have gotten in it. So once those leaves start to decay, then it will definitely give the water a false smell and things like that. So some persons are okay, but some persons the water is no good.
My goodness. And I'm asking these questions because I think these are practical things that we should be seeing some movement on in Carriacou, at least to pump out some of the cisterns and to try to get them clean so that proper water. But the thing is, even though you pump out some of them, as you mentioned very clearly, they have no roof. They have nothing to catch the water to put it back into the cistern.
Yeah.
Have you seen any movement by government to at least start the process of reconstructing some houses or at least some of the major facilities? Have you seen any movement on that part?
No, I haven't seen anything. I think based on the magnitude of what is before us, it might be a bit early for any movement in that regard. Really and truly, I think the main focus right now is on the cleanup effort. That is what we are seeing, and the restoration of power. Those are the two initiatives that we are seeing right now. I presume that the government is probably trying to procure materials. I think somebody indicated that a boat came from Guyana and had brought in some lumber. Not large quantity, not large enough to create any major impact in terms of to support persons. So I believe that government that is what I believe, I don't know, that they may be looking to start procuring materials, gathering data, information, and procuring materials to make it available for persons to help them restore their roof. And so, as I said, we haven't really heard any plan, whether it's a general plan as to what we'll be working on first, what we're working on second, timelines and things like that. We haven't heard anything in that regard. I believe that if something like that would be very useful, so resident citizens can know what the plan is, and so everybody can work towards it in some way based on what they have to do, what they have to achieve, to their contribution towards getting that plan for restoration done. I know that there is a meeting with the business community scheduled for something later on this week. I think it's on Friday, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe there might be more information for the business sector in terms of restoring the economic life of Carriacou in that meeting. I hope that some more information may come in that regard as well. But one of the main challenges, Sheldon, I believe that we have to deal with is that issue of water, and we don't have to explain how important water it is. Water is for daily function, for cooking, for domestic purposes, for general hygiene, and so that is going to be one of our major challenges. Every way that how I looked at it is going to be tough, and in some cases, some persons, because of the recent prolonged dry period we had, their supply have been depleted. So even if it's in good quantity, it's drinkable. Even if it's drinkable, it didn't get contaminated from the hurricane. I'm not certain how much persons would have shared with other members of family, other Carriacouans. And that is what we normally do during the dry period. Persons who have would always share with others. And so the stock of water supply is low and contaminated. Some of it is contaminated, and we don't have no roofs right now. Mm-hmm. So you have a challenge where that if we do not get our roofing back up in a timely manner, it is unlikely for us to be able to collect water during this rainy season. That will help sustain us for the dry period, and that is the real issue I think before us. This organization, the Samaritan's Purse, they have on island, I think, 2 desal reverse osmosis plants, portable ones, mm-hmm. that they have set up. One in Hillsborough, I think you would have seen, and one in Harveyville, where persons can go and get clean drinking water. That has been working quite well, and it's heavily subscribed. Persons, and they also brought bottles, and so persons go on a daily basis and fill up water for their daily needs, and that is what has been happening. Apart from that, cases of water has been coming in, and persons have been receiving water as well. And the whole issue with the bottled waters, it is highly unlikely that people would use the bottled water for showering and things like that. They will move maybe for drinking and cooking. So that is where that other water supply that is coming from those potable reverse osmosis or desalination plants is helping with other things like washing and things like that. So it's I think that is one of our biggest challenge facing us right now, that issue of water. When I'm looked at everything else, and I think that is going to be the most difficult one before us. The second difficult one is going to be school. How are we going to do schools? I don't know. I don't know how we're going to do schools. The schools are occupied. They are shelters, unless we can get some support, maybe from some friendly organization or government, where we can bring in like a field school, like a big tent, so schools can take place. In once we can place it in a suitable area, we can have school on those makeshifts, tents or whatever, something like that. I think that can work quickly, in the sense that is something that you can quickly procure and get here, set up, put the necessary infrastructure in place, and we can start having schools. I know there's some discussions about students relocating to Grenada. That one is a little bit complicated because not everybody have the capacity or to have the kids go to Grenada. Sometimes they can't leave. Their job is here, so it's a little bit more messy to deal with that. Persons who cannot have family members in Grenada and they can send the kids, that is fine. But for those which the majority would not be able to, I think bringing in schools will help. Bringing those big tents, so just as how they have this field hospital up here right now.
What I could suggest, though, I know that after Hurricane Ivan, in the Willis area, I believe it is, they had this metal structure that was used as a school. I think it's the U.S. military or whoever. I can't remember exactly.
Yes,
but it's
still there.
This, right, that was used as the school facility while the school was being rebuilt. So probably some of those would be suitable rather than the tents, because again, remember, we're still in the hurricane season.
We're in the hurricane season, yeah. So you're quite correct about in that regard. So,
but the thing is, you're speaking about that situation. Remember, in some areas, for instance, Dover School is no more. It's gone.
Yeah, Dover School is no more. Dover School is gone. It has to be rebuilt from scratch. So that again, as I said, is something that we'll have to have some temporary structure building for school to resume come September. The timeline is kind of tight to have school start for September. Maybe if they push, we can probably look at January having school start back in honest. That is what I see. I mean, I don't know the logistics. I'm just pulling it off the top of my head. Yeah,
because there's several things you have to look at there. One, the school structure. Two, the furniture, like in Dover, the furniture is gone too. The furniture.
Yeah, the furniture is gone too.
In fact, the school is totaled. Everything that was there, do they again, gone. Yeah, the books that were in the library, that was saved, but everything else that was in the structure itself, that has been destroyed. That is a you have to count that out. That's out of it. So they would need to get books and so on. But then you still have the situation that the teachers and the children still don't have places to stay. They still don't have a home.
So it's a combination of factors, and I say it's really a messy situation for us. But I believe it's important to have the kids engaged from an education standpoint. And so while there might be a challenge for a place to stay, but that having being in a school environment is very, very important for the mental health of our kids. And I think every effort should not be spared to ensure that we have some formal education structure resume as quickly as possible to have our kids engaged, despite having that challenge at home, in terms of space. I think it is very, very important to have that school back up and running.
Mm-hmm. So water schools, again, you mentioned the idea of bringing some of the students down to Grenada. When we spoke to Dr. Panchu last week, Tuesday, he said that's not a good idea. At this stage, it is not a good idea to break people away from the familiarity of the surroundings. Even though it has changed, it is in a psychological level, it's not a good thing to move them from there down to Grenada. And I've went to school here back in the days with students who had to come out from Petit Martinique and from Carriacou to go to school here, and I know the challenges that they faced. So I know it's not going to be an easy thing. I've been, I could tell you one of them is the Catholic priest from Petit Martinique. he was one of the students at that time, and it was difficult.
I understand, but I mentioned it in the context that
it's difficult.
That sometimes entire families may move.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so if the entire family moves to the mainland, then obviously the kids will have to be enrolled in grade, and obviously they have to go through the process. But some persons may take that decision to just move to Grenada right now because of the situation in Carriacou. It might be easy for them to relocate.
So let me ask
to rebuild.
Let me ask the question then. So if the government of Grenada were to act with some sort of humanity and offer the houses in Corinth and Beaujeu to families to move down as families for a certain period of time while these issues are being worked out in Carriacou. Do you believe that some families would make use of the opportunity, that they are able to obtain one of the houses in Corinth on a temporary basis, the Corinth housing scheme or the housing scheme in Beaujeu or one of the other housing schemes, if they are allowed that opportunity? Do you believe they'd make use of it?
I think some persons would. I can't say if it's going to be a large amount, it's going to be heavily subscribed. But I think it's something worth exploring, because what I do know, what the government has done, some of the senior persons in the shelters, they have moved them to Grenada. I guess some of them probably put them in nursing home. So they have been doing that, trying to get those, especially persons who are not so mobile. They have removed them from the shelters and placed them in, I think, in nursing homes on the mainland. So that has happened. So I think that having that conversation may also bring some easement for persons who have that challenge of actually getting back a home or getting back their home up and running right now. But I don't know, because I'm a little bit confused. I don't know what is the government policy thinking on those housing units right now, and it doesn't seem like there is a desire for persons to occupy them, like residents or citizens to occupy them right now. So it's something that they will have to further explain or not. So that I don't know, and I can't really expand on that too much. But
Senator Cox, you mentioned
that is.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So you go ahead. Yeah, that's fine.
No, you were mentioning earlier a question that just came to mind. You were mentioning earlier the reach of NOWASA through the desalination plant, the reach of NOWASA thus far in Carriacou and Petit Martinique. Did NOWASA before the hurricane have water connectivity to the houses in Dumfries?
I am not certain, but I do know that there is water lines within the area, within the Dumfries area. So it's just a matter for them to just connect and to just connect the house. So I'm not certain. I'm not certain it was done, but there is a main line running within the area. So it's not anything difficult to connect. It's not anything difficult.
We've also heard conflicting stories regarding the Dumfries housing project. We have the Minister of Housing making a clear statement that people from Carriacou are living in those houses. We've heard from the Minister of Implementation that the houses are unlivable. You can't put human beings to stay there. That is what he said, not my words, his words. We heard the Prime Minister since the day after the hurricane saying that permission was given for people to be there. What is the present situation with those houses as far as you know?
Well, based on the comments, my colleague Senator Thomas, I think she probably didn't have the full information. I think she was thinking that that is something that should have probably easily happened. So that is the reason why I'm saying that. And based on the comments of the other persons, I don't know what is the policy thinking behind the government as to why they don't want residents in the units. But what I do know, I have not gone close to the building, but I've passed within the area, and yes, there is some damages on one or two of the buildings, if I could recall. I think two of the buildings, and yeah, I could see damage on the roof. And yes, I also saw some windows broken. But you're talking about 100 units, and so it's not all of that is compromised. And I also saw persons there. There were persons residing there. Relief workers who came to do relief work are residing there. So that's why I'm saying I'm a little bit confused.
So not Carriacou people.
Why?
These are
not to my
I've heard
no.
that they're Grenlec workers and Ministry of Health people.
Yes, I think relief. I did saw some of the Grenada workers there. Yeah. So while we really welcome the relief support, and that is something that we welcome and we really appreciate it, I mean, wholeheartedly. And there was some little bit confused with the policy thinking and the feedback from members of government. And so I don't know, because if you're telling me, Sheldon, that the place is not comfortable or not suitable for me to live, and then I see somebody else living there, what is it that I'm going to think? So persons are very confused, and persons are thinking, well, you don't want me there. That is how they are thinking. So I think it's a clear opportunity for the government to clarify that and to remove that thinking in the minds of Carriacouans and Pidimantnicans that they feel as if they don't want them in the facility. And I think that is how people feel. So I think it's a clear opportunity for them to do that. As I say, I don't know what is the reason. I can't say. I don't understand. And even if there is some damages, fine. Yes, there are some damages. But remember, there are people living there. So, I mean, it's conflicting.
Because
So-
we had
so that's-
the minister of MIT saying that the place is uninhabitable. You can't put people there. That's what he was saying.
Yeah.
Just on Friday,
Yeah.
Thursday or Friday. Friday, he was saying that. So I
Yeah,
mean, this
yeah.
is an amazing one as well. Senator Cox, there's also an issue, and I want to congratulate you on that initiative. Something I personally have seen that you are doing, and I've heard from others. That is the initiative in relation to the medication, because I've seen what you're doing. I know you wouldn't take pictures, you wouldn't put it out. And the only thing I know that you've mentioned about it is that, yes, you are doing something and you need help with it. Tell folks exactly what
Yeah.
you're doing. I'm going to expose you here. I know you wouldn't do it on your own, but I telling you to do it. What are you doing when it comes to
Well-
medication and folks, and how can people help? The diaspora is listening, people are listening. How can they help?
Well, I was looking at some way in which I could have contributed, and I must say the idea didn't came from me, but it came from a gentleman by the name of Craig Keller. Yeah, and in conversation with a family member of mine, and then my family member called me, and we spoke about it, and he said that, Craig said that, look, while it's all good and well to give, to bring foodstuff, to bring items, that is all good and well, but how is that affecting businesses in Carriacou? So he was saying that, look, it might make more sense if businesses have the resources, the food stuff or so. Why not lodge the monies with those businesses and let them donate the food stuff? So what you're doing, you're killing two birds with one stone. You're helping Carriacou business to recover, to survive, to sustain. At the same time, you're providing stuff for relief effort. Yeah. So that is where the idea came from. And so I also saw that as an opportunity for my pharmacy to provide medication for persons who have repeat medication. So what we did, we sat and we look at a group of medication that we believe is needed around this time. So we look at medication for hypertension, diabetes, persons with asthma, and also some pain medication. So those are the four areas that we look at. And what we suggested was that persons can donate cash, all right, to us direct, and we can issue vouchers of a certain quantity for persons who are repeat persons, or they themselves can issue the vouchers and send the persons to us with the vouchers, and we will fill the vouchers and based on whatever monies were lodged with us. So that is what we are doing. And so far, we have two persons partner with us. Of course, Craig Keller, he has also partnered with us. I mean, I hope you don't have any issue with me calling his name, because I really like the initiative. I think it's a very good initiative to keep businesses going, at the same time provide medication for persons who cannot really afford at this point in time, and who doesn't have the means. A lot of persons will go to the clinics, and so the clinics are not functional at the moment. While there is a limited, a partial clinic that is happening on a particular day, I think the district officer, medical officer, tries to see how we can go around and reach some of those persons, especially those in the shelters. So we are trying to do our part in that regard. So we have two persons on board who have lodged monies with us to have that initiative going. So that is what we are doing from our end, from Tripoli's pharmacy. And of course, we are giving out stuff in between, just helping persons quietly. And it's something that we thought that it would be very good. My girls and I, we talk about it and we discuss. And the other end of it, we felt kind of blessed in the sense that our business wasn't so negatively impacted. While we really prepared, we had our sandbags and we prepared for it to try to remove everything off the floor and secure the business as much as possible. And fortunately for us, we only had minimal damages, more water damage. And so we kind of feel gratified in that regard. And so my daughters and I, we had this discussion that we will give back something, as a way of kind of transferring the blessings to somebody else. Fortunately, also at our home, we didn't lose our roof, and we lost a number of windows in our house. And for that, we just say, look, we feel blessed, and we just try to see if we can give to those who are really in distress right now. So that is the best that we can do at this point in time.
So let me ask folks then, that those that are willing to assist, to reach out to Senator Cox. Dory, get to me and I'll get you to Senator Cox. And you can make your donations. Now here's what, because for instance, for people who are suffering from hypertension and so on, it's not a matter of you just go in and buy the medication in Canada or New York and send it down. A lot of these things, the prescription medication. So the safer way to do it is to provide that money into a fund that is then used in Carriacou, providing jobs and employment in Carriacou, but also providing for an urgent need, a life-saving need for the people in Carriacou. Rather than that money being spent in Canada or New York or so on, put it into the Carriacou economy. The same goes with the building materials and the different things. Put it into accounts that can then be used in Carriacou and Petit Martinique to provide jobs. Because my next question comes to that, Senator Cox. When it comes to the employment situation, from what I'm seeing, it seems as though a lot of people are out of a job.
Well, I can say so, yes. Currently, a lot of persons are not working because some of the business places are significantly damaged. So they're not working. I know that NS has put a call out for persons to file for employment benefits. But really and truly, the whole issue is to find a way, and I do hope the meeting on Friday with business committees to maybe to engineer some initiatives to get back create some economic activity to get persons back and up and running. Mm-hmm. So that is a challenge. Fortunately, once there is action in terms of rebuilding, there are going to be a lot of jobs available and most a lot of demand for jobs in the construction sector going forward. So there is some bright light at the end of the tunnel. While it's a little bit tough right now, there is a great opportunity for significant economic opportunity for rebuilding going forward. So we have to look at it from both sides. So we do hope that we can see some movements as soon as possible on the rebuilding side. So government will have to take the lead. While some persons are doing their little bit. Persons who could afford, they are doing it. But for some persons, they're just not in a position to do so at this point in time. It's really difficult. It's really difficult for a lot of people. I mean, somebody asked a question today about the mental state of persons. That I don't know. You know, I really don't know how persons are fearing right now. But we just have to continue to pray and hope and work and support each other during this process to keep Carriacou going. Yeah, something that I really want to encourage. I know that a lot of persons would have left Carriacou and maybe travel or maybe go to mainland. We just want to say don't give up on Carriacou. Don't give up on Carriacou. We would really love to welcome everybody back, even persons who have plans to invest in Carriacou. We're asking that you do not abandon those plans. But I think now is a great time for you to invest to get Carriacou moving and to be part of history in terms of the restoration of Carriacou to what it was before, even better. Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to say that, put that on the record.
Let me just mention this one thing before I ask you another question, a bit off of Carriacou. Sometimes we had to talk about something to lift the spirits a bit too. So that's something else I want to bring up.
Yeah.
To you. But with all these plastic bottles and so on coming into Carriacou, is that really a good thing? Considering you just have the Dumfries site for the waste disposal and so, all of these plastic bottles, all of these things coming into Carriacou. Now, I hope that some methodology is being thought of, because what I'm seeing there, cases upon cases upon cases of drinking water coming up and other things. And it eventually, this waste has to go somewhere. It has to go somewhere. And if it's just dumped there, it's going to be there for, we know it's going to be there for decades into probably over a century. So that's something that has to be looked at. Now, Senator Cox, as the former minister, a former minister with responsibility for sports, Team Grenada is very, very soon, I believe, the Olympic Games, I think they start next week, Friday. And Team Grenada will be out there even before the month of July ends. We will be having some of our athletes out there. What do you have to say to Team Grenada as we go out there once again in search of gold? We're hunting for gold right now. We have Karani James, you have Lyndon Victor, and I'm just trying to pull up the names here. We have Karani James, we have Lyndon Victor, we have some swimmers. I'm just trying to get the names in front of me. What do you have to say to them? We're heading out. You have Karani James, Anderson Peters, Lyndon Victor, you have Hazel Hazard, Zachariah Gresham, and Tilly Collymore. That's Team Grenada.
Well, Sheldon, I mean, really and truly, I must congratulate, our country, for having such outstanding athletes, and to also congratulate our athletes for making it to the Olympics in Paris. Anderson, Kirani, and Lyndon, I frequently on and off converse with them. Kirani and I, we met a few months ago in Miami and at the airport, and we had a nice chat. We came on the same flight home. So I have full confidence in our athletes that they are going to give us the best, and we are very hopeful that we can have some medal. I know Lyndon and Anderson, they are very hungry. They are very hungry to get off the mark. Kirani has done exceedingly well in every Olympic to medal. I think that is an outstanding performance. And I had said something to him at the airport, when I said, listen, man, you're a big deal, and so it's just that sometimes I believe that he is taken for granted in so much ways more than one. I don't think a lot of persons understand the significance of his achievement and what that means for our country. I think I somehow that his whole story just always sticks with me, and it's a significant achievement for our country as well. Given I was looking at the amount of medals that we have in comparison to other countries and their population, and we really have to really lift Kirani up in so many ways. I mean, he has really put Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique out there in a way that nobody has ever done. And I think that is something that we need to underscore every opportunity that we get, every opportunity. And that is just my takeaway. Every time we meet, he's just such an outstanding individual, and I just think that sometimes his achievements just go by lightly. That is just my own personal take on it. Because of his whole demeanor and his humility,
he's a very humble individual.
Just,
he's a very humble individual.
Yeah, well, even Lyndon is very, very emotional and very humble. Lyndon, he has a great family support. His family loves him very, very much, and they stand up with him in everything, and they believe in him, and they give him all the support. His brother Kurt as well. Lyndon, he lost one of his sisters recently. It's a tough time for the family, and I really reach out to him. They are great friends of mine, and I learn a lot from them, even though I'm much younger than I am, but I learn a lot from them in terms of their character and how they carry themselves. I think there's a lot that we all can learn from them as individuals. Anderson is just a marvelous young man, in just that when you look at him, you just can't believe that he has the ability to throw so far. And I think that is what is outstanding about him. He packs a powerful punch. You can't see it in the package just by looking at the package, but he does pack a powerful punch, and I really wish him all the best. And the swimmers and the other newcomers on the scene, I think that we have a great opportunity for a country in terms of our athletes. Maybe something, Sheldon, maybe that the Olympic Committee. Before you go ahead, something the Olympic Committee can look at. I think it'd be a good time for at least to kind of showcase our need here in terms of the impact that we had from burials. So that might be a good opportunity for Carriacou and Petit Martinique to be highlighted at the games in some way, maybe on a shirt or something. That's something that the Olympic Committee can look at. I think that will help. Just raise the awareness of what is taking place here. And it's not anything new. It's something that happens at those games where you have countries or nations that have trying times. It's an opportunity to recognize them during the games. And that's what the games is about. The games is a show of spirit and strength, and so I think it's fitting for that. So that's something I think for the Olympic Committee to consider in that regard. I just want to just go back quickly to the whole issue with the plastic.
Yeah.
I recall when we were in government, NP government, the former minister for Carriacou and Diplomatic Affairs at the time had brought to cabinet an initiative for an organization here in Carriacou that was collecting plastics, and I think they were making something with it. So I do know there is an initiative on our island where all the plastic bottles are being collected and recycled for better purpose use. I can't remember exactly what it was used for to make, but it used to be collected. So I think that there is some way to treat the plastic bottles that are coming on island right now. I'm not certain that they are functioning after the storm to what capacity, but I know that they used to be functioning prior to the storm.
I think some serious effort should be made to separate the plastic waste from the organic waste and so on, instead of just taking everything and just dumping it different locations, because with all these plastic bottles coming up and being used, eventually you might end up starting to see them on the beaches and floating in the water and different things, We don't want that.
Yes.
So we need to
A lot of
Yeah.
bottles have came into Carriacou for the past 2 weeks. Yes, a lot of bottles.
I've got a message here from someone out in Houston, Texas. They're saying they're coming up to Carriacou and Petit Martinique when they come home in August. Yes, Keda. And they're organizing stuff in Houston that should be coming down. They'll organize that. And they will be coming as well. So the Grenada Houston Association, they're also doing their stuff as well for the people of St. Patrick and Carriacou and Petit Martinique. So they just wanted you to know that. All right?
Wonderful. And thank you in advance. Yes, we really appreciate it.
Yes, indeed. Well, Senator Cox, I want to give you an opportunity to make some closing statements to the people of Grenada, Carriacou, Houston, Texas, California, all over the world who are listening to Talking Points right now live or who will be listening in the next couple hours. Some people, because of work and so on, they listen a little after. So you see the numbers triple in no time flat. So just some closing statements to the folks out there.
Well, let me just say, just really want to start off by thanking all the organizations, all the volunteers who come up on a weekly basis to help in one way or the other to help us recover from this, from whether it be supplies, whether it be counseling. Every bit of effort is really appreciated and we need it. A number of persons are distraught. Some persons are very good at masking how they really feel, and we really want to find a way so that we can give the support to those persons to recover. Also, a number of persons, and today I just learned that another family member who got injured during the storm, she passed today. So we lost some persons as a result of impact from the hurricane, and that again is another challenge, losing our loved ones. So just want to extend sympathy to all the families who would have lost loved ones during this time. It's never easy to lose someone that you spend almost your entire life with, and so it's going to be a rough time. So you have the loss of family members and a lot damage to your home or business. So it's a lot for people to recover from. So we are very, very grateful for the support from everywhere, be it financial or otherwise. Words can express how we feel in that regard. I think that once everybody continue to pull the efforts together, we are going to get over this. We are going to go past this. There is a saying, and there is just, the Bible says that, God never give you more than you could bear. And so we just have to continue to have faith and continue to work, get up every day and work and do everything that we can to ensure that we bring Carriacou back to some form of normalcy. And so I'm very, very optimistic that we can get this done. I'm not a worrying type person. I've never been a worrying type person. I always try to look at, solutions, look at ways in which we can solve problems. And I think that's one of the things I enjoy doing. So we are trying to do everything that we can to see how we can get our beautiful islands back up and running. Petit Martinique, I want to also mention that the team over in Petit Martinique, the relief team, they're doing a wonderful job, an excellent job, Sheldon, and you would have seen it yourself.
Yeah.
Just the true spirit of togetherness. Petit Martinique is an example to all, and I really want to commend them for their efforts. They have been badly hit, and I do know that they have the same challenge in terms of how are we going to build back, how it's going to be done. And as I said, we are going to have challenges in terms of getting certain things done, implementing certain things. I trust that those challenges do not really sway us or daunt us from achieving our goal of restoring our beautiful islands. So, Sheldon, I want to thank everybody for who are planning to support and who have already sent the support to Carriacou. It's more, it's a lot. It's a lot. And whatever little you send, it has a positive impact, and we are very, very grateful for that. As I indicated earlier, persons who have left Carriacou and who are planning to invest. We really want persons to come back. Don't give up on us. We can get this done, and I believe that with your support, with your commitment, with your investment, we are going to be fine. We are going to be fine, Sheldon. Yeah.
Senator Cox, I've got to run. We've got to run. We want to thank you so very much for taking that opportunity to speak with us. You've given so much valuable information, well thought out information, plans and strategies. We want to continue to congratulate you on the excellent job that you have been doing, and continue to let you know that the Talking Points family, the new National Party family, and Grenadians, Carriacouians, Petit Martinicans on a whole, we are all behind you and all the wonderful work that you are doing. And we will ensure that Carriacou and Petit Martinique, the people of St. Patrick who have been badly affected, that they all rise again. We want to thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Lisa. All right, folks, we have been speaking there with Senator the Honorable Nolan Cox, and quite a bit of information. But it's 10 o'clock. Now, gotta go. And you know the situation with JJ. So I've got to move one time. But I want to thank again Senator Cox, all of you who have called, all of you that were trying to call. We're sorry we were unable to take the calls while we had Senator Cox on. Some of you tried to call before and I didn't get the call in time. So I want to thank each and every one of you. Folks, that's all the time for Talking Points today. We'll be on tomorrow, God's willing, from 8 p.m. once again. And whatever you say, whatever you do it safe and secure. Want to be speaking to and with you and not about you. My name is Sheldon Scott. I am out of here.
If you are a leader and you lead because of power, if you take away from the poor man and you leave them just to suffer, oh, if your life not in line with the will of God, you must learn the searchlight inward. If you want to make it into heaven, my friend, live right and serve the Lord. Oh, if you are a leader and you lead because of power, if you take away from the poor man and you leave them just to suffer, oh, if your life not in line with the will of God, you must learn the